So I'm really excited. And like you said, it's a mindset. I'm not going to just stop there. I'm going to keep going and keep going because I feel good about what I'm doing. I feel proud that I'm able to get to that point now after all these years. And with the proper training that I'm getting from your group, it's just remarkable. I'm just so over excited about it. And I want to share it so much, and I want people to understand that there is a right way to do things. It's just you got to do it, You just got to understand and do the right thing.
There you are. Hey, good morning. Thanks so much for booking a slot to come and talk to us. And all we're doing is, I reached out to the guys and said, I wonder who might be up for having a conversation with me, leading up to the end of the year. Some of the amazing people that we've worked with, and we've had so many people book in, which is lovely. And obviously, I was so happy when I saw that you were one of the people that booked in. Obviously, we've been communicating and talking for some time on Facebook. I know that you're amazingly active in our Facebook group, Wells, and we appreciate that. But I wanted to really sort of get an opportunity to talk to you specifically about your journey and what you've achieved and what all the things that sort of have happened over the time you've been with us so far. But what I always like to try and find out is and have a really good understanding is to, I guess, where you were with your health, your wellness, performance, your figure, your physique, etc., before you started working with us. Because I know that you've obviously been doing a lot of work. You've been very focused. Even before sort of joining us, you've been keeping yourself in amazing shape. And I've seen that obviously even since then you've moved even further forward with us, which is wonderful. But take me back to pre-joining us. Maybe areas that you felt that you were struggling with or not sure about, or really what then became the reason to want to, I guess, take that next step up and begin working with us, in a coaching sort of fashion.
So my journey started about 13, 14 years ago now. My dad just passed away from cancer. So I was very heavy at the time. I was depressed at the time. I had no physical activity going on at all. So my son helped me to get acquainted to the gym and try to get back into some kind of fitness. I did not know how to do any weights, no machines, nothing at the time. An 8-pound dumbbell was like heavy to me at the time.
Yeah.
So I started there with my son, and he taught me different techniques and what to do at the gym. And my mindset just from there just started saying, I'm going to lose weight. I weighed over 196 pounds at the time, 14 years ago. It was hard. It was a struggle, but I made up my mindset that I was not going to be that anymore because of my dad. And I didn't want to die young like he did. So I changed my whole mindset, my whole routine. It's taken 13 years, but I decided that I was going to keep going at it. And I struggled. But then finally I saw you on Facebook, and I started following your Facebook group, and it just inspired me so much that I wanted to continue. At the time, though, I just decided I was going to try it on my own, just try and do it all on my own. And it's hard. You can't do it all on your own, And so I tried different programs. I went online to try different workout programs, and they just didn't seem to fit to what I needed. As far as nutrition, as far as programs, as far as inspirational feedback.
Like the sort of encouragement and the sort of, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I finally started losing the weight. I've started getting the muscle, and I've seen a big transformation over the years. But since I joined your organization with your coaching and everything, I've done so much improvement, so much better. It just helped me so much with the nutrition and the exercise programs that I need.
Oh, wow, that's a heck of a journey. And firstly, thank you for being, sort of open and explaining all of that. And obviously, sorry to hear about, sorry to hear about the reason that you started to a degree. But I suppose sometimes we have to take positives from those those things that happen in our life, because we all have things like that happen, parents passing away and so on. And I suppose if we are ever going to take something positive from that, then we do what you've done, which is to go, okay, well, maybe you thought to yourself back then 13 years ago, if I carry on the way I'm going, then maybe I'm not going to be here for as long as I want to be. We all get to a certain point in life and we actually really truly understand that we're only here once. Well, as far as I know, as far as I can tell, we're only here once. We only get one shot on this merry-go-round. It is not an audition. It's not a practice. And what you've done there, which is to consciously understand that and make some very definitive big changes in your life that have now probably added a bigger degree of quality to life right now, but probably certainly added years on at the end, which you can't even, who knows when that's going to be, but you must have added years on, because if you were up at 193 pounds, I'm guessing, with all the respect in the world, that's probably fairly heavy for you and probably not a body composition that is particularly healthy. And so I think even at the point when I first sort of got to know you through our Facebook group, I remember immediately thinking, wow, like this lady's committed. She's in shape. Like she's obviously doing particularly well. And not only that, but your attitude towards it, just thoroughly enjoying training, like enjoying the whole process. And obviously, there's obviously struggle in there. There's always struggle, but outwardly you've got a clear passion and love for doing the thing, let alone just getting the result, but doing the thing. And some of the people who I see who do the best just enjoy the process. Like it's said that the person who enjoys walking will get further than the person who enjoys the destination. Like, in other words, the person who enjoys just doing the thing will always get further. Whereas what a lot of people are focused on is just the destination. When will I be 30 pounds lighter? When will I have abs? When will this happen? It's like, how about just enjoy going to the gym regularly and making progress on that day, and being accountable to your own food, which is clearly what you've done, and you've done a wonderful job. So maybe help me understand what things changed. What did we maybe help you with change from the moment, obviously, before you joined to then joining? Because I've seen your progress pictures since being with us, and I was like astounded by how quick you'd made progress after joining. Obviously, after already doing so very well, your progress. I saw the progress pictures on a regular basis, and I was like, crikey, like this is happening quick. So what is it that we put in place, from your perspective, that you feel either was eye-opening or seemed to make the biggest difference for you?
I didn't focus as much on nutrition as I should have. I thought I was. I did not know how to understand the macros and what protein you need, all of that. That's what really helped me the most. And plus your program, as far as knowing what the exercises entail, not just going through the motions, but actually knowing the actual function of it and what you need to do right to do it properly and to get your muscles that you need. That's what helped me. I was told before, how to do this. You just go, and there's different things on how to do it. But your program showed me and you on your videos on what is the proper form. Everybody can go through the motion, but if you don't do it right, you're not going to accomplish anything. And that's what I've learned from you. I'm 64 years old, and if I have accomplished so much in just the past year and a half that I've been with you than I have in the last 12 years.
Oh, wow. Oh, no. I mean, I've everybody I've spoken to today, I've said this same thing, which is, we can have the map, the GPS, and know how to get someone to where they want to get to. But then it takes amazing people like yourself to actually want to do the work and get there. Right. You're absolutely right. Where the mind goes, the body follows. I remember being told this, by an amazing gentleman who helped me, and I've taken that thought process forward, which is anything we achieve with our body, we've kind of already mentally had to achieve in our mind. Anything that's around us right now was once just a thought in someone's head. You know what I mean? Like the desk I'm sitting at, having a computer, like these were just thoughts. So if we have a thought in our head of, I'd like to be leaner, I'd like to be stronger, then we've had to think the thing first before we can go off and do it. And so mindset is the key difference between people that succeed and people that don't. The only difference between someone that succeeds and someone that doesn't is two things. Someone that succeeds started, and someone that succeeds started again when they failed.
Right.
In other words, they
Right.
just kept going. That's it, right? Obviously you've been at this for a very long time, and again, it's not. I imagine now it's not that there's an end destination for you. It's just keep going, isn't it?
No.
Right? I imagine it's just keep going for as long as you possibly. There's no once I get here, I'll be happy. I'll just keep going, right?
Alphas, I interrupt this show with a simple message. This show is here to benefit you and your progression to the best version of yourself. But not only just you, it's also here to benefit the people around you, your loved ones, your friends, other alphas in your vicinity. So why not do a really cool thing today? Something that I would thank you for and maybe someone else would. Share this podcast with at least one other alpha out there who you know would benefit from it. Why not share the information, share the ability for someone else to grow? I'm sure they would thank you. I 100% would absolutely thank you. This podcast only grows by our listeners, our followers doing amazing things like giving us 5-star reviews, downloading podcasts, subscribing, and then, of course, sharing it with other people. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Share it with one person, and, of course, drop us a 5-star review, download the podcast, and, of course, subscribe. And now back to the show.
I'm going to do a competition next year in May.
I've heard about this. So yes,
I'm very excited for that. That's a goal. That's an ambition for me. That's a mindset for me that I can do this, and I will achieve that goal. And the only way I'm going to get there is through what I'm doing now. Make sure I maintain my nutrition. Make sure I maintain my workout program, and push myself harder and harder every day. And have that right mindset and that right feeling and that right goal that I'm going to do it, and I'm going to continue to do it. Past that,
Could you imagine now, right, going back in time to the Annie of 13 years ago and saying to her, not only are you gonna be in the shape of your life, but you're gonna be thinking about getting on stage? What do you think that Annie would say back to you 13 years ago?
That ain't gonna happen. That is not possible. I don't see myself doing that, but now I see myself doing that, and I feel so good about it.
Regardless of what ends up happening on a stage, because it always ends up out of our control. No matter what happens, in my mind, there's only one goal when it comes to competing, which is which I call is cross the finish line, which means step your first foot on the stage and feel, and like, it's literally when you put your first foot on the stage and you feel the warmth of that stage, it's like, that's it, you've just won. Because the point is this, you're like, there's nothing that doing a show is great, and a lot of people think it's like, it's what everybody should be working towards. I don't agree with that. What it is good is it's a very, 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 very clear goal in front of somebody to work towards. There's no ambiguity. It's on so and so date, on so and so month, I'm going to have to stand on stage in the best shape of my life, and then people can judge me. Like, that's it. So, but what happens is the show that you pick will be on so and so date. Now, the second you walk on stage with maybe, let's say 10 people stand on that stage on that day in your category, 10 people stand on stage. What those 10 people don't realize is there were 5 people that dropped out the day before because they didn't look ready. There were then maybe 10 people that dropped out somewhere through the prep because they couldn't handle it. There were then maybe another 30 people that thought, I'm going to do that show, and change their mind. What people don't realize is the 10 people that made it there might be 10 out of 40 people that were going to do that show, for example, right? Arbitrary numbers. But those 10 people only think about the 10 people, and they're now competing with those 10 people, which, yes, of course, competitively is true. They're the only people that we can now be compared against. But it's like crossing the finish line to a race of people that were miles behind you, and you're already ahead of them. I always take a lot of thought in that, which is, every time I stepped on stage and I felt the warmth of that stage, I'm like, in a weird way, I'm like, I've just beaten, in a nice way, I've just beaten tens of people that didn't even get this far. So now, regardless of what happens, and obviously I'm walking on that stage to win it, like, that's why I'm here, but regardless of what happens, I've won to a degree. As long as I can look back and say to myself, I did everything through this prep that I could, adhered to everything as much as I possibly could, then regardless of what the result is, I literally did do the best I could. Now, if, let's say, someone comes 5th out of 10 and they know they skipped on their meals and they know that they cheated, then that's going to weigh on them heavily, because they'll think to themselves, what if I'd have done everything I could? Maybe I could have got 2nd or 1st or something. So the thing that competing does is it focuses the mind very, very clearly on a singular goal. And Therefore, it's no surprise that the people that compete will mostly end up with the best physiques. Now, best is what someone decides is best, but it's easy then to work towards something. I always say the one word of warning I give to anyone about competing is the job is not done when you step off stage. There's then weeks and months of work after that to get back to a livable place, a place where body fat isn't flying up, and recovery's back to where it needs to be. So there's the bit before stage, then there's also the very important part after stage, where I think a lot of people think the job's done. No. Whereas really there's a good 6 to 8 weeks after getting off stage where it still needs to be still very, very regimented. Otherwise, what people tend to do is get basically fat very quickly if they don't control what they're doing. But I can't wait. Have you actually picked the show? Do you know what show you're doing?
Francisca is helping me. It's here in Denver where I live, and it's the evening gown competition.
Wow, so amazing.
She wanted me to start on that first, so being my first one. So I'm really excited. And like you said, it's a mindset. I'm not going to just stop there. I'm going to keep going because I feel good about what I'm doing. I feel proud that I'm able to get to that point now after all these years. And with the proper training that I'm getting from your group, it's just remarkable. I'm just so over excited about it. And I want to share it so much, and I want people to understand that there is a right way to do things. It's just you got to do it, You just got to understand and do the right thing. It's just not going through the motions.
And it's lovely when we have individuals just like yourself, in the program who appreciate the effort and the work that's going in to try and help, but also then take that information and really apply it in their life, because we can supply all of the information, the encouragement, the everything, and then if someone doesn't apply that and put it in place, well then that's wasted time and effort on both sides. But when amazing people like yourself come along, and it's like you take the information and literally run with it, we're then chasing behind you, like, right, let's keep up with Annie, like she's off, she's gone. So we love that.
You're fantastic, and I hope at my age, at 64, that I can be an inspiration just to one person.
Oh, you're definitely that. We already know that you're that. Yeah. We see when you post in the group. I've looked in the group, so obviously I get the insights, like the analytics from the group. So I can see in there, and I can see. So the Facebook automatically score most popular posts. So I can go in there and I can see what they are. Now, sometimes when we do the I forget the thing that we do on Friday where people post their pictures, like that's quite often. So that they will normally occupy the most, because everybody underneath that will normally be one of your posts, quite frankly. So like you'll be like, you're always in like somewhere in, obviously it revolves, but you're normally always in the top 5 most engaged with posts and most popular posts all of the time. So if you post something, generally what's happening is people are commenting, they're liking, which is meaning that people are looking at what you're doing and they're inspired by you and your journey and the way you portray what it is that you're doing. People find it very authentic, and they buy in, and like you're a superstar in that group, quite frankly. So you certainly inspire people. And obviously, I don't know if you have announced publicly about have you announced that yet, or is that not common knowledge yet? Fair enough.
I wasn't sure if I should do that or not, or just kind of wait until to do that. But
I would. So I would normally. Well, it's entirely up to you. I have in the past said at the beginning, so it makes me like it's another layer of accountability. But then also anything can happen in the prep. There could be injury, there could be illness, there could be global pandemics, anything can come along. So generally speaking, in terms of then, let's say something did happen, you had to pull out. What we never would want someone to do is then feel like they've failed, because that's not what's happened. But so we would tend to sort of say, announcing something like that would be something that would happen a little bit closer.
Okay.
But obviously this is going out on my podcast, so there's going to be some people that might know that you're thinking of doing this. So there's going to be definitely a group of people like, oh, right, who is this Annie lady? We're going to go check her out. Like we're going to check out what she's doing. So listen, I'm going to look.
It wasn't blurry though. Jeez, when you Christmas.
Don't worry about that. That adds to the mystique, right? That adds to that adds to the mystique.
I thoroughly enjoy your program, and I watch your videos, and you have made a big difference in my life, Andy.
Oh my goodness! Thank you.
I can't emphasize enough how important it is to me that you have come along and made it such a great program. Such a great program.
You're going to make me cry. You're going to make me cry. Honestly, it does. I mean, look, without getting too emotional, it means something to me every day whenever we hear feedback. Like, I mean, what you've just said is amazing, and I'm not even coaching you personally. We've got coaches, we've got coaches who are looking after you, and so I try to take as little credit as I possibly can. Yes, it's my business. Yes, we've created something, but ultimately, it's what we're able to do as a community, the whole company as a whole. And there's many people inside the business that, most people never really get to sort of see or hear of because they're working away very busy with things in the background that people don't necessarily get to see. But what it means is as a organization, we get the opportunity to have a positive impact into another human's life. Like I live by two thoughts. That's one, and the other one is to try and be the last coaching company someone ever needs. Like they're kind of like the two things that kind of drive me forward, because the first one is to have a positive impact into another human's life is an appreciation. It's a gratitude. It's a we get the chance to do this. We are blessed to have the chance. And then to be the last coaching company someone ever needs is us driving to do better all the time. So these two things, if we keep these two things going, then we continue to move forward and ultimately be able to serve amazing people like you. And I mean, look, you've just said to me that we've had an impact. I mean, you've had an impact on us. Don't underestimate that. We are driven and continue to be driven, and maybe not motivated, but inspired to continue pushing and driving forward in terms of what we do because of the amazing feedback we get. Specifically, like what you've just said there, it really does impact us. And sometimes when I put my head on my pillow at night and I think, have we done something very positive today? And sitting here and having a conversation with you means it's always useful for me and very, very powerful for me to know that we're having that chance to have an impact. And regardless on what chapter in their life someone is, it doesn't make a difference. If we can come in and add some value there, then I think we're doing a decent job. So listen, look, we are privileged to have you here, let alone the other way around. Quite frankly, we are privileged to have you here, and we thank you very much. Thank you for being a very active. An active member in the group, and obviously we're absolutely delighted to have you here. And we're going to be keeping a very close eye on your progress, towards your first competition. I can't wait to see you doing your thing on stage. I absolutely look forward to that. So listen, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for taking some time out and coming to talk to me.
Thank you.
Amazing. Bye. Cheers, Annie. Take care. Bye bye.